I once spent 6 hours trying to beat the same boss in a video game for a virtual reward. And then later that week, I couldn't sit down for 25 uninterrupted minutes to work on the thing that would actually move my life forward. That contrast bothered me more than I expected. Because it wasn't that I didn't care, it wasn't laziness. It was my brain doing that quiet negotiation thing. Let's just check one thing first. Let's get in the right mood. Let's watch one video so we feel ready. And suddenly it's an hour later and I'm still at 0. If that feels familiar, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not broken. You're living in a world that turns your attention into a commodity, and it's very good at stealing it. For a long time, I thought productivity was about big, dramatic changes. Like, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m., or I'm going to work 8 hours straight, or this month I'm going to become a completely new person. And every time I tried that, it lasted maybe 2 days. Then I'd crash, I'd slip, I'd feel guilty. And guilt doesn't make you productive. It just makes you avoid the work even harder. What finally changed things for me wasn't a bigger plan. It was a smaller unit. 25 minutes. Not as a productivity hack. Not as a cute tomato timer trick. As a unit of change. Because sometimes 25 minutes isn't enough to finish the dream. But it is enough to prove to yourself that you can still move. And once you can move, you can build momentum. And if you want to try this with other people instead of doing it alone, I'll pin the Basilisk Discord link in the description. Think guild, not hustle. Let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself for a second. When was the last time you worked for 25 minutes without touching your phone? No quick reply. No, I'll just check something. No switching tabs the second your brain gets uncomfortable. Just you, one task, and a timer. For most people, it's rare now. Not because they're weak. Because the world is engineered to interrupt you every few minutes. And historically, it wasn't like this. Monks didn't feel motivated to study and pray. They followed a rhythm. Writers built rituals so the work would happen even on bad days. Darwin worked in short, deliberate blocks and stopped before he fried his brain. The point is simple. They didn't treat focus like a mood. They treated it like a container, a protected space where the mind could actually go deep. In the 1980s, a student named Francesco Cirillo was struggling to focus. Nothing heroic, no grand philosophy. He just wanted to sit down and study without drifting. So he asked a simple question. How long can I really pay attention before I start negotiating with myself? He grabbed a kitchen timer shaped like a tomato and set it for 25 minutes. That's it. Not 2 hours. Not an entire afternoon. Just long enough to feel like real work, but short enough that your brain wouldn't rebel. And that's what made it stick. Because the biggest battle isn't doing the work. It's getting your mind to agree to begin. Here's what most people get wrong about focus. Your brain doesn't hate effort. It hates open-ended effort. Work on this until it's done. Study all day. Build your future. Those aren't instructions. They're threats. They feel endless. But 25 minutes has edges. You can see the end from the start, and that tiny boundary lowers resistance enough to begin. And then something else happens that matters even more. Your mind settles. Focus isn't a switch you flip. It's a state you enter. The first 3 to 5 minutes are usually messy. You'll feel the itch to check something. You'll remember random tasks. You'll want to escape. That's attention residue from 1,000 micro-distractions. If you stay with it, the noise drops. So if you want your first 25 to actually be clean, here are 3 moves that change everything. 1. Decide the target before you start. Not work on my life, something concrete. Outline the intro. Do 15 Anki cards. Solve problem 1. Write 200 words. Vague goals force your brain to keep asking, what am I doing? And you drift. 2. Make distraction physically inconvenient. Phone is in another room, or at least across the room. If it's within reach, you'll lose eventually. That's not weakness, that's biology. 3. When the urge hits, don't fight it like a hero. Notice it. 1 breath, back to the task. That return is the rep. That's what rebuilds focus. Then take the break seriously. Stand up, water, look outside. No doom scrolling. Because doom scrolling isn't recovery, it's just more noise. If you do this consistently, the biggest benefit isn't productivity. It's that you start trusting yourself again. You start believing, I can begin and I can finish. Now here's the part that made everything click for me. Video games solved the motivation problem a long time ago. If a game told you, you need 6 hours straight to finish this, no checkpoints, no progress bar, no reward until the end, you wouldn't even start, even if you love the game. So game designers don't do that. They give you bite-sized challenges. A dungeon run you can complete right now. Quests with clear objectives. Boss fights with a visible health bar. Checkpoints, loot, XP, level ups. That loop is the whole reason games are addictive. Effort becomes visible. Real-life work breaks people because that loop is invisible. You can work for weeks and feel like nothing moved, so your brain learns to avoid the work entirely. That's why I started building Basilisk. Basilisk turns focus into runs. A 25-minute session isn't just time passing. It's a completed attempt you can see. XP earned, sessions stacked, progress you can't talk yourself out of. And the Discord layer makes it hit harder than doing it alone. When you start a session, it can log it. When you finish, it can post it. You can literally watch other people doing their rounds too. Not influencers, not perfect robots, just real humans showing up for one clean timer. And if you're the kind of person who always quits when nobody's watching, this changes the game. So yeah, if you want, pause the video, join the Basilisk Discord, and do 125 with us today. You'll understand very quickly why this works. Let's do the math in a way that actually feels real. One 25-minute session doesn't look impressive on paper. It's almost annoying how small it is. But small is repeatable. That's the point. One session a day, 5 days a week. It's over 2 hours of deep work per week. Over a month, that becomes noticeable progress. Over a year, it becomes a body of work, the kind that quietly changes what you're capable of. And the deeper part is this. Consistency changes how you see yourself. Not fake confidence where you hype yourself up. The quiet kind where you have proof. You stop relying on moods. That's what discipline actually is. Keeping promises to yourself, even small ones. Let me be real with you for a second. If you've been feeling behind, if you keep restarting, if you keep telling yourself, I'll be serious next week, I get it. And I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to give you a way out that doesn't require becoming a different person overnight. You don't need a perfect plan. You need your first clean win. Because the first clean win does something people underestimate. It breaks the spell. It proves you can sit with discomfort without escaping. It proves you can finish something even when you don't feel like it. And that's how your whole posture changes over time. Not with a motivational speech, but with reps. So here's the deal. When this video ends, don't scroll. Don't save it for later. Do this today. Start a 25-minute timer right now. Pick one task that actually moves your life forward. Do the full session. No bargaining, no multitasking. Then take a 5-minute break. And if you want a system that makes this easier, and honestly harder to quit, download Basilisk and join the Discord. Because the moment your sessions are tracked and visible, the work becomes real. You stop trying to change and you start training. I'll pin the invite link and Basilisk info in the description. Come do your first run with us and comment 25 when you're done. That's your first level. See you inside.